You may not realize it yet, but we're in the early stages of the evolution of the crypto industry. And what that means is that as we get 5 years down the road or so, things are going to look drastically different. And you need three specific things as we get into this era to be a dominant player. And luckily, Cardano is a big winner because it does, in fact, have all three. And what I want to talk about is what the future of Cardano is going to look like, as well as what this could do for the price of ADA. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So first of all, I want to show you guys something just to give you a little context of where we're at in this life cycle of crypto. So there was this survey that was done by CNN, and what they did was they interviewed 21,000 people asking them, would you invest in Bitcoin? 86% of people said no, and 14% of people said yes. And this is a pretty accurate breakdown of what things look like here in the US. Okay. We're talking between 15 to 17% of the people here in the US are currently engaged in the crypto market. Worldwide, it's more like 5 to 6% of people. And what that means is that we are, in fact, incredibly early. We are in a highly speculative market. We are the early adopters, the innovators, and we're here before the masses. So this makes a lot of sense. But what that also means is that even if you have great tech and major developments that take place, it isn't always going to move the price. Okay. I've had a lot of questions about that. Oh, if Cardano is doing all these great things, why isn't the price of ADA moving? Because that's not the way it works in a market that's in its infancy. Okay. The biggest stories, up and comers, right? Rises to fame. Those are the things that move the market. For gosh sakes, Ton founder I can't even remember what he did. He was allowed to go to a different country or something like that. That pumped the price of Ton 20%. That's not a normal thing. Okay. Now things are changing and we're starting to get into this era where crypto is going to become a more mature market, and that comes with time. And what you need then at that point is three specific things. You need tech, you need a narrative, and you need optics. Luckily, Cardano has all three of these. First of all, from a technical standpoint, Cardano is one of the most scalable blockchains in all of crypto, right? Between Laos, Hydra, partner chains, it's kind of stands on its own. It does things very different than the other players in the space. And although right now it hasn't had like this major amount of liquidity or major amount of users or anything like that, that is going to change over time as people start to realize what's actually taking place. Second of all, the narrative, right? Decentralization. Hands of the community, perfect 100% uptime, perfect security. These are the things that are essential if you are going to become a mainstay in the crypto industry, if you are going to have those big integrations and adoptions from enterprises and governments, right? Optics, well, Cardano has been in the top 10 basically its entire life. It's got optics from institutional players filing news spot ETFs, trying to get, integration or not integrations, trying to get adoption there. It's in discussions in terms of, some of these major US based cryptos, potential integrations with the government, stuff like that. I mean, right now you have to really think about this as a more long-term game. Okay. Cardano has done some very incredible things so far from a technical standpoint. It's done some very incredible things from a price standpoint, but those will only get magnified as time goes on. When we're talking not just the end of this cycle, but the end of next cycle, we're probably going to be somewhere in that 30% of the world or so in crypto. And what that means is that we're becoming a more mature market. The ones with those three things are the ones that are going to be the big winners. And luckily, Cardano has done enough at this time to really separate itself from some of these other blockchains in the space. That's why when we talk about, the flipping of Solana, when we talk about, making a push towards the top 5, we talk about stuff like that, it begins to make a lot of sense because everything that you need for that push is already in place. Now, what does that mean for ADA price in general? Well, we have projections in this market cycle somewhere in that $7 to $15 range. And I still think that makes a lot of sense. I still think it's going to take time to get there. I'm not saying that's going to happen today, but if you start to become part of these much bigger discussions, you're talking about the potential of trillions of dollars in market cap. And no, I didn't stutter. I said trillions of dollars in market cap. You have to remember that the projections for the entire crypto market by the end of 2029, 2030 are somewhere in that $100 trillion range. More conservative estimates are about $30 trillion. But could you in fact see ADA be 6%, 10% of the global market cap of crypto? Yeah, frankly, you could, because it's got all these things working in its favor. It's got tech. It's got a narrative. It's got optics. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be other up and comers that come into the space, but the crypto market is becoming more and more crowded, and it's getting a lot louder as time goes on. And the question is are some of those other, projects that are up and coming, do they have enough to make their way to the top? I have to say that, looking at a lot of these projects that are up here currently, most of these have been around for a while. Some of these new up and comers haven't really done a lot unless they've had like major, not to highlight anything, major VCs, right? Major centralization. Hopefully you guys are getting my point. But the point is that Cardano is well prepared for the future. And I think that by the end of this market cycle, it's going to be looked at in a very different regard. I think we're going to get major adoption in this cycle because of the developments that have taken place, but it's all a waiting game nonetheless. I'm looking at Cardano long term. I'm looking at what can come over time. And I have to say that Cardano is one of the brightest futures I see in crypto. So if you guys, if you haven't already, appreciate you as always. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I forgot my outro, but have a great day. Show your love. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.